The Seven Factors of Enlightenment. There is a 2,500-year-old list that tells you, in order, exactly what your mind needs at any given moment, whether it's too dull or too agitated, to get back into a state of clarity. It's called the Seven Factors of Enlightenment. And I want to be clear about something up front. This is not a metaphor, and it's not a vague spiritual concept. It's a diagnostic tool. Practitioners have used it for millennia to answer one very specific question. My mind is off. What do I do right now? Today I'm going to walk you through all 7 factors, the internal logic that links them together, a protocol you can use in a single sitting practice, and where people typically get this wrong. Frame. Let's frame this properly, because the name is doing a lot of work, and it's easy to misread it. Enlightenment here doesn't mean a permanent lightning bolt transformation. In the original context, early Buddhist psychology, these 7 factors are qualities of mind that, when present together in the right balance, constitute what awakening actually feels like, moment to moment. They're not prerequisites you complete once. They're a set of internal levers you learn to recognize and adjust. Before I go further, here's where this comes from, because it matters. This isn't a wellness culture repackaging. The 7 factors are a named recurring teaching in the Pali Canon. Specifically, the Bojjhaṅga Saṃyutta, Book 46 of the Saṃyutta Nikaya, an entire chapter of discourses devoted to this exact list. It's also the stated endpoint of the Satipatthana Sutta and the Anapanasati Sutta, where sustained mindfulness of breathing is described as maturing into the 4 foundations of mindfulness, which in turn mature into these 7 factors. So this isn't an isolated saying, it's a structure multiple core texts build toward. SN 46, Bojjhaṅga Saṃyutta. Here's the structure in the traditional order: mindfulness, sati investigation of experience, dhamma vikaya energy, viriya joy or rapture, piti tranquility, passaddhi concentration, samadhi equanimity, upekkha. Now here's the part that makes this genuinely useful, rather than just a list to memorize. These 7 aren't a random inventory. They're organized into 2 functional families, plus 1 factor that acts as the hinge between them. Factors 2, 3, and 4, investigation, energy, and joy, are the activating factors. You reach for these when your mind is dull, sluggish, sleepy, or checked out. Factors 5, 6, and 7, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity, are the calming factors. You reach for these when your mind is agitated, restless, anxious, or scattered. And factor 1, mindfulness, sits above both groups. Its job is to tell you which state you're actually in, so you know which set of tools to pick up. This isn't my interpretation. It's stated directly in one specific discourse, the Aggi Sutta, the Fire Discourse, found at SN 4653. There, mindfulness is described as always useful, regardless of state, while investigation, energy, and joy are prescribed specifically for a sluggish mind, and tranquility, concentration, and equanimity are prescribed specifically for an excited or restless one. SN 4653, Aggi Sutta, the Fire Discourse. That's the whole architecture. Everything else is detail. Mechanism. Let's go through each factor and what it's actually doing. Factor 1. Mindfulness, sati, takpu. Satipatthana Sutta. Mindfulness is bare, present moment attention to what's happening, in the body, in sensation, in the mind, without immediately reacting to it. Functionally, think of it as your monitoring system. It's the factor that answers, what state am I in right now, before you decide what to do about it. This is why mindfulness comes first and stays active throughout. It's not one tool among 7. It's the thing that tells you which of the other 6 to apply. And it's the one factor the Fire Discourse describes as useful in every condition, not just specific ones. Factor 2. Investigation of experience. Dhamma vikaya. Once you notice a state, investigation is the active, curious examination of it. Not analyzing in the sense of narrating a story about it. Investigating in the sense of what does this actually feel like? Where is it located? Is it changing? This is an activating factor because curiosity is inherently energizing. A dull, sleepy mind perks up the moment it gets genuinely interested in something. That's the mechanism. Interest counteracts sluggishness. Factor 3. Energy, viraya. Energy here means sustained, applied effort. Not agitation, not forcing. It's the factor that keeps you engaged with the practice rather than drifting off or giving up. Where investigation supplies the spark, energy supplies the follow-through. Factor 4. Joy or rapture, piti. This is a felt sense of uplift, sometimes physical, sometimes described as energized happiness. In the traditional model, joy is what naturally arises once investigation and energy are working well together. It's also the hinge factor. Joy is still activating, still has a charge to it, but it's the last stop before things start to settle. Factor 5. Tranquility, passaddhi. Tranquility is the calming of both body and mind, the settling of the nervous system after the energized quality of joy has done its work. This is where the practice shifts from activating to calming. Without tranquility, joy can tip into restlessness or overexcitement. Tranquility is what keeps energized states from becoming scattered ones. Factor 6. Concentration, samadhi. Concentration is one-pointed steadiness, the mind resting on a single object without wandering. Notice the sequencing here. Concentration doesn't come first. In this model, you can't force stable concentration onto an agitated or dull mind. Concentration is what becomes available after tranquility has already settled the system. Factor 7. Equanimity, upekkha. SN 46.53. Equanimity is balanced, non-reactive awareness. You're aware of pleasant and unpleasant experience without being pulled or pushed by either one. This is the calming factor's endpoint, the same way joy was the activating factor's endpoint. It's stability that doesn't depend on things going a particular way. One more citation-worthy point before moving to protocol. The Canon doesn't just describe these 7 factors. It also describes the specific conditions that cause each one to arise or fail to arise. The Aggi Sutta, in the same chapter of the Saṃyutta Nikaya, states that unwise or careless attention, ayuniso manasikara, prevents unarisen factors from arising and stalls factors that have already arisen. That's canonical support for something we already know from attention research more broadly. The quality of attention you bring to a state determines whether that state develops or dissolves. SN 46.2, Aggi Sutta. So the full arc looks like this. Mindfulness monitors. If dull, investigation, energy, and joy activate the mind. If agitated, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity settle it. And mindfulness is watching the whole time, ready to tell you when to switch lanes. Protocol. Here's how to actually use this in a sitting practice. This is a single session protocol, roughly 20 minutes, though you can compress or extend it. Step 1. Establish mindfulness, 2-3 minutes. Sit upright. Bring attention to the breath at the nostrils or the rise and fall of the belly. Don't change anything yet. Just establish the monitor. Ask yourself once, is my mind currently dull or agitated? You don't have to answer perfectly. A rough read is enough. Step 2A. If dull or sleepy, activate. Investigation. Pick one physical sensation, the coolness of the breath, a point of contact with the seat, and get genuinely curious about its texture and how it changes moment to moment. 30 to 60 seconds. Energy. Sit slightly more upright. Open the eyes a fraction if they're heavy. Take 2 or 3 fuller breaths. This is a small physical correction, not a big one. Joy. Let yourself notice any pleasant quality that shows up as attention sharpens. Even a small sense of interest or ease counts. Don't manufacture it, just don't ignore it if it's there. Step 2B. If agitated or restless, calm. Tranquility. Lengthen the exhale relative to the inhale for 6 to 8 breaths. Let the shoulders and jaw soften on each exhale. Concentration. Once the body has settled, narrow attention to a single anchor, the breath at one location, and hold it there, gently returning each time it slips. Equanimity. As focus stabilizes, widen awareness slightly to include whatever else is present. Sound, sensation, thought, without needing any of it to be different than it is. Step 3. Return to mindfulness. Every few minutes, recheck, dull or agitated, adjust accordingly. You're not trying to force one fixed state, you're cycling between diagnosis and correction. That's the entire protocol. The skill you're building isn't get good at meditating. It's get good at noticing which of two directions your mind has drifted and knowing which 3 tools pull it back. A few things people get wrong here. First, applying activating factors to an already agitated mind makes things worse. If you're anxious and wired and you deliberately try to generate more energy or excitement, you'll amplify the agitation. Match the tool to the state. That's the entire point of having mindfulness first in the list. Second, this isn't a linear checklist you complete once per session. Most sittings involve cycling through dull and agitated phases multiple times. Expect to move back and forth, not to progress neatly from factor 1 to factor 7. Third, joy and equanimity are commonly misunderstood as goals to chase. They're not destinations. They're what tends to show up as a side effect when the earlier factors are functioning well. Chasing the feeling of joy directly or forcing a flat non-reactive affect and calling it equanimity both miss the mechanism. They're downstream, not manufactured. Fourth, this model is descriptive of momentary states, not a permanent personality upgrade. You're not achieving mindfulness or equanimity as fixed traits in one sitting. You're practicing recognizing and adjusting your state in real time, a skill that compounds with repetition, the same way any trainable attentional skill does. Like and subscribe. Health is wealth. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. I too see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.